Yeah, trying their luck. So yeah, I will just quickly check our channels. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm streaming to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and Twitter, and +3 from Mikola. So 8. It's good.
Let me check my channels as well.
Yeah. So let me check. Because I've shared the link with our team.
Can you hear me yet?
Yeah, we can perfectly hear
Good.
you.
It's better than before, or it's earlier version was better?
Because I'm not actually sure how many people will join.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bilal, he's well, he's going somewhere with his friends. I think he'll join on Friday. So probably we can just start. We have one viewer on YouTube. So low.
Good.
Yeah. So how was your week, Mikola?
Perfect.
And you, Hugo? Done much?
Oh, let me see. Was a busy week, but yeah, good. I think I could get a little small time to read something. So yeah, when I can read something, I think it's a good week. You can
Oh, we
study a
have
little bit.
Dean. This is so
Hey,
cool.
how are you?
So yeah, so I was just discussing with Dean before that like we need to change an approach for scheduling talks. So if somebody comes to us and says that they will maybe give a talk in the future, we shouldn't block the time. But as soon as anyone says that I'm giving talk next Saturday, if it's free, it's free. It's yours now. So Dean is going to talk about Chat GPT or something, right?
Yeah, well, I was just sort of gonna go through what I was doing for the week. Um, I I know we discussed another talk that I was possibly gonna do. So I was kind of half prepared for that if I had to go. But yeah, I'll go through this anyway because it was something that it originated with what I was doing at work, but we sort of pulled the pin in the project temporarily. Like it isn't something that we are going to look at immediately, but we will revisit eventually. But I want to explore it in the background. So the idea is, I don't know if you're familiar with the GPT-4 model, but I've been experimenting with that quite a bit, and it does have some limitations still. But what I'm sort of working on will address a lot of the limitations. I'll share my screen. Hold on a sec. Can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Hold on.
We already have your fans in chat, Dean.
What's that? Sorry.
You have a fan club, so there are people
Oh,
mentioning
hey,
Loftware.
how are you?
Hi.
What's going on? So yeah, this project here, basically, what I want to do is have an enhanced knowledge base application that basically integrates your code base, your documentation, and any knowledge bases you might have. So you can use it for sort of basically being a virtual employee, or you can use it as an expert that you can ask about your own project. For example, if I was to use it with Linkfree or something like that, I could ask this system how to do things and it would know specific contexts about the Linkfree project. So all I've done at the moment is the basics. It'll run through Docker. So you can see the code for that here.
Are you sharing your screen? Because I don't see anything.
Oh, okay, cool. Hold on a sec.
Oh, there's Shrey joining as well. It's a newcomer, I think.
I'll just share it again.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Shrey. So,
There's a darkened window. Hold on. Can you see it there? Or
Yeah, you need to click the button share screen in the bottom,
Yeah,
and then you can
I have-
choose.
I know I did this last week and it let me do it. Can you see my
No.
different cameras? Because there's another one here and it's grayed out. I can't actually control it.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. I see. It was like
yeah.
I had to switch the toggle. So,
No worries. Well, yeah,
just
that might have been confusing
just
because
an idea for today, because we have Dean and Hugo as well. So maybe like today we'll go half an hour Dean and half an hour Hugo, or something like this. Because
sure thing. Well, yeah, mine won't take too long because this is a pretty small project so far. I'll just run through quickly so it doesn't get too boring. But basically, it's a Python application. Just use it. Have you heard of the Click library before? It's basically designed to make a CLI. So here's the code for it. Basically, Click's a tool that helps you make CLIs a lot easier. If you've worked with Bash and you've used what is that, Xargs or whatever the Bash one, I can't even remember. GetOps, that's the one. I used that a long time ago. Click makes that sort of thing a bit friendlier. So at the moment, this is just going to ingest data to a couple of different APIs. At the moment, I want to use something called Weaviate. That's a vector database. Another tool is Pinecone database, which is another vector database. And I want to integrate with MindsDB and also OpenAI for GPT-4. So the basic sort of function of this application will be to integrate with my own data. One of them will be the code base. Next will be the documentation. Third one will be knowledge base. So yeah, it sort of builds a graph with these two tools here. I'll give you a quick run through it. This is Weaviate. It's a sort of vector database, which is the common database that you will use in AI applications. These are the main sort of features. I haven't really had a chance to play with it much yet, but I really look forward to getting into that this week. The pricing's not too bad because that's what's really going to kill me. So yeah, I think I'm just going to experiment with this at the moment. Probably $25 for a month, and yeah, I think Pinecone DB will probably be similar. Just let me bring this up. Okay, that might not be what I'm looking for. Maybe they don't even have a website yet. Or did I? VectorDB. There we go. So how much is this going to cost me? Wait, this is free anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to experiment with this. And I don't know if you've seen, here's the sort of developer platform for OpenAI. I like to experiment with, where's the playground? There's a playground here. This has some more advanced functionality that you won't get in, say, ChatGPT or anything. And you can get some more examples of here. All the models are there as well. GPT-4 isn't actually available here. So because my project is GPT-4, I'm going to want to make sure that I can use that API. So the main things that we're going to do, text summarization, which is GPT-4's strength. MindsDB is another good one. I don't know if you've seen that, but this is another platform I want to experiment with. Basically, this is a no-code or low-code tool for machine learning and AI applications. And yeah, so my tool itself is going to take what ChatGPT can't handle by itself and use other techniques to make sure that GPT-4 can actually keep track of the context. So divide and conquer is a technique that it will use where it takes a task that it's trying to do and it breaks it down into much smaller features, which are easier for my tool to then process on its own and then send into a bigger thing that I can then use in another process. So ultimately, you end up using ChatGPT as like a controller itself. I'll have a lot of custom prompt engineering. I'll make use of caching and memorization as well. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of experimentation to do. I've got a schema for the API here and what I intend to do, and it should sort of be a basic application. All the instructions on running it are down here. It doesn't actually do anything at the moment, but if I wanted to use it, this is what I'd run. And if I was ingesting the code base, that's what I'd do here. For example, if the docs were there, I'd have a different data structure for the docs, and then the ingestion file would be docs_file. The same would go for the knowledge base. And basically that's just so you can process each one of them differently, and then you can mess with the temperatures and the weights here. And that's where, once I build this, that's where a lot of the work will be from there. And hopefully this actually turns into something useful. So that's what I'm going to be looking at this week outside of my day job.
If you do you sleep at all? Are you a human? Are you sure?
Sort of hybrid, I guess you could say that.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you for referring to this open AI. It's actually open source. I'll leave a link in chat. So whoever wants to start with AI, especially those who are younger, so your job market will differ from our job market. So you might want to start it early. So good. You've all just seen the teaser and live coding and command line interface for ChatGPT like tool. This is so cool. I cannot even put words together. It's like
it's fun to
okay.
play with. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, my limit of AI was I used this HashNode-RX. It's also ChatGPT, but I think it might be 3. I'm not sure. And I used it to generate templates for talks, and it's actually really good. You can ask it like, give me a talk for Elasticsearch meetup for junior developers with a twist, like with an incline to the open source, and it will give you like 6 points on it.
Yeah, they're just so powerful. I know there's a world of difference between the 3.5 model and the 4 model. Like if we never got an upgrade from GPT-4, I think I'd still be happy with what we have there. It is just so powerful.
Yeah. Okay, Hugo. You volunteered with surprise talk. What is the talk about?
Well, actually, I was hearing all the deans talk about GPT and was so amazed. Nowadays, we have such powerful tool that can help us with many things. And well, I was talking with Mikola about a video that I made not so long time ago, talking about technical debt and how we can deal with that, because at least for me, I struggle a lot in my career with these technical debts on the project that I worked, and there was very challenging ways to actually get rid of them, because we always keep going and going and going and make all of them led to the very end. And I was thinking, nowadays we have ChatGPT or those GPT actually that can also help us with the by addressing them and I don't know, give some tips or some ways to deal with them. But one thing that I talked in the video was to a very maybe the first thing that you have to think about getting rid of technical debt is to reduce the time to release the solutions. So I was talking with that because I was in Brasilia here in Brazil, the capital of Brazil, and we end up finding a fountain, a very beautiful fountain. And when I read the story of that fountain, that was shut down for 30 years. So and I looked at that and whoa, 30 years shut down. Can you imagine how many things that how many problems that you accumulated in these 30 years, like the structure problems and things like that. And I thought like, oh, it's very similar to our software, right? We do if we let for a long time, as long as it takes, many problems we accumulate because of that. And well, the first thing that I would try to do is to reduce the time to deliver that, deliver a solution for that. So making 30 years become 15 years, or if you don't have 30, you don't have. I hope you don't have any software that was frozen for 30 years. But if you have something that's frozen for
You'll be surprised
yeah.
how many companies have it, especially airline companies and airports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's frightening. I won't be surprised if somebody is running Windows 98. So,
Whoa.
because I was
Well,
reading a book on technical debt, and it was they were bringing bad examples.
Bad examples, yeah. Well, I was happy with that. I don't have any software with 30 years frozen. But if you have 30 months software, then if can you deliver things in 15 months? And yeah, going over that, everything that you can do to shrink the time frame to deliver the solution would help you to deal with this technical debt, because in the end, deal with technical debt is to create solution and deliver that, and create solution and deliver that over that debt. And I was thinking about trying to connect with open source, and I believe that it's pretty similar, right? If you have any PR that you created, but it takes so long to people to approve that PR and see the results there on that project that you contributed, it would be less attractive or less fun to work with that, because you won't see your change, your contribution to make value for that project, right? So I know that there would be a lot of different challenges when we talk about open source, but it would be much better if you can work with open source and have those deliveries being as short as possible, so you can actually merge things and bring new values for your project and get rid of technical debt that might have in the project on your open source project. So that was one thing that I would like to discuss here. I'm not sure if you guys has challenges on this specific topic. If you have something to add, I would appreciate it. I think the idea here is not to become a presentation. It is much more an open discussion with you guys and your experience with that.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, it's stuck. So two things. First, I shared the link to Tiff in Tech blog on YouTube. She's good, like really. So I watched a YouTube video on top 10 certifications. And well, spoiler alert, number one, Amazon Architect. But like, so then she mentioned cybersecurity, and she mentioned it with a median salary in States, which helps. But I also started watching her video on top IT skills for 2030. And I haven't watched it all yet, but I can smell good video by like first seconds. Like you open Dean's video, Kunal's video, Eddie's video, first 10 seconds. So that's first thing I'm worried about is job market. But second thing I'm worried about is our meetup actually, which is all men. And although we are a diverse bunch from one side, but from another one, we need people like Shreya, who joined us because they're very good people and role models. So Shreya will be, she's a junior, as I understand, just starting, but maybe if Shreya, if you can share like anything.
Okay, I am Shreya. I'm from India. Hi, everyone. Actually, I've just started out in tech, and I have joined a 100 F's free cohort since March. I've started learning and stuff. Basically, from biology. I'm from biology background. I've graduated from biology, and then I switched my career because in between I did a diploma course which certifies that I'm a programmer, which I don't think so. I don't believe that I am a certified programmer. I still don't have those skills. Yeah, I'm learning. I've just begun, and here I am listening to you guys. I don't get everything that you are talking, but yeah, I'm listening and enjoying. Thank you so much.
Just for the record, I don't feel like I'm a programmer either. I've been
Same
doing
here.
this for a long time too.
Here.
I don't know when I'll be able to say that I am a programmer now, but far
You're a
from you
programmer.
guys.
I mean,
You are a programmer.
it's like, yeah, you can write. Not a single person in the world knows how Java works. Trust me. Nobody knows whole history, all versions, like, and it's just Java. It's like the key
Yeah.
question is, can you do something with it? So if after this call you can go and write a tweet about your speaking here and people
Yeah.
helping with imposter syndrome, we all have it, then you are definitely a developer.
Yeah.
Because if you think of it, actually, this is a very big problem, what you mentioned. So many people, especially ladies, but men as well, they think that they don't deserve to be called a developer, or like they need to study 20 years more. I've spoken to a friend from, I think, North Africa. He has like 16 years of hardcore Java development, and he planned, before he met me, he planned to spend, and hardcore developer, I mean like low level Java, like really low level. And he plans to spend 8 years more, so he's worthy of considering to contribute to Java, to open source as such. And I'm like,
Oh
excuse
man,
me?
that's long.
Yeah, so it will never, it will never finish. The road
Yeah,
is Yep.
it's not about perfection. I know.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we're learning
another
in the
thing
process.
is that especially like around the world, and for example in India, there's a huge potential in ladies, because historically they are not very well presented in IT market, especially in the high positions.
Yeah, I agree.
So for a lot of ladies, you are such an inspiration, and so better than myself. So let's say let's say you go and check what is this Open AI, which Dean shared, right? You just go and share that, check what it is, read about it, write an article, mention Dean, ask him like, is it like, did you understand it all wrong, or like, is it a good thing to do, whatever. Because there will be so many girls looking up to you. I'm not sure how many people you have on Twitter following you, but you will have thousands, like quite in a year you'll have like few thousands easy. And for them, the stuff you share, just your path, is so much more valuable than me going and like checking out how multi-threading works in the latest Java. Because it's all about the value you deliver, and your value is so much higher than mine in so many ways. So you don't have to like meet somebody's standards for programmer. Let them meet your standards. Can they make like 10,000 girls in India consider job in tech because they liked Shreya, right? Shreya, who is so cool. Can I do that? I'm not sure I can do that. And the impact is huge, because people will be earning money in tech, which is higher. People will be working online remotely, so it's better for family life, because it's not very fair towards women, and at least in my culture, it's harder to be a lady because
It's hard to be a lady everywhere, I guess.
yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know for everywhere, but for many cultures, yeah. So yeah, so thank you for joining us. So
Oh, my
normally
pleasure.
we often start like if you want to share your goals for next week and any help you need or like just goals is fine.
I mean, for next week, I would say I am planning. I am writing. I've started writing blogs. So I've written two blogs. One is on dev tools, and other one is on cold DM networking technique. The third one I'm planning. I am learning Git these days. So I thought that whatever I've learned, I will just write it as a blog or an article and publish it over Hashnode. So I'm building and learning in public. That's what I'm doing, and I'm sharing stuff. So that's the strategy, not just for the week, for the upcoming months. I'll be learning and sharing over Twitter. And, you know, if I can contribute to community, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, so you might see like on the screen because you're part of the event, you can see our names, and normally we put this dog symbol with a social media name handle.
Yeah.
So you can
Okay,
just
okay.
copy them and write a tweet, and then we'll see this bell, and we can retweet easily. Write a tweet about your experience today. But
Yeah, yeah,
what you're
sure.
going through, it's the Git thing. It's so cool, actually.
Thank you.
So, have you contributed to open source already, or?
No, I haven't. I'm learning Git, and then I'll be, more involved in those contribution and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm still.
I'll
I've
find the
just started
project.
out in March, so
No,
it's
no,
really
I have a special project which
okay.
is done especially for beginners,
Okay.
and I'm typing it in comments. It's called First
Yeah, sure.
Contributions. I can actually show if you don't mind, friends.
Okay,
One second.
I saw
It's I think it's this one. So it's called First Contributions, and all you do there is and it has README. It goes through everything, including Git installation and stuff. And it's more like a toy project, but what it does basically, somewhere in the text file, you just add your name. But
Okay.
because it goes so well through all this Git stuff, like step by step, that before I used to explain people how to start, but now I'm just forwarding them to this project because they
Okay.
learned so many basics here. And yeah, good stuff.
That's wonderful. That's something I really need. Thank you so much, Nikit.
Yeah, welcome. If you didn't come today, I wouldn't have shared it. So you see, you're already impacting the stuff. So Dean brought OpenAI. Hugo brought thoughts about changes in the job market, and because of Hugo, I shared this TIFF in Tech, or what's called TIFF in Tech. And now Mikola, is there anything you want to share?
No, thank you. Not right now. I just maybe want to ask a couple questions to Hugo. Could you provide maybe some more details, your experience related? Oh, sorry, let me turn on my camera. To share some experience related with tech debt and fighting tech debt, I would say.
Oh well, for the projects. Actually, first anything. So Shreya, I just want to congrats you by doing things and also sharing your journey doing things. I think that's powerful, right? Many you can think that I'm just starting, but your journey it's very similar to many others. So that's so powerful that you share it and help others also to be to do their first steps and going through them. So and I was so impressed with the Nikita's open source project. That was amazing, Nikita. I didn't know that you had this first contributions project. It was amazing. So congrats also. And
Yeah, this one is actually from Hacktoberfest. So I think Eddie
cool.
Jaud and Kunal, especially Eddie, he was promoting this Hacktoberfest. So I joined there, and they had these first contributions because Hacktoberfest, actually, it's important for Shreya as well. It's like a lot of hackathons. They have a bad name, hackathon, but actually they're open for juniors. A lot of them. So like you come there and they teach you from scratch. Of course, you probably won't get the first place, but you'll get such a quality mentoring for free and maybe some swag. So because of Eddie, I came to Hacktoberfest, and they shared this project. and we used it to help some kids in I think Ghana or Gambia, I don't remember now, and because we showed them how to start with open source as well. That's it. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's all yours, Hugo. Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's amazing. Hacktoberfest, so amazing initiative, and and in the end, if you contribute, I don't know if it changed, but when I did participated, if you have 5 contributions, you get a T-shirt from the Hacktoberfest, and I still use it from 2008 maybe, and yeah, so I was so happy with getting a T-shirt from from them. It was so good to be part of this movement as well. Well, so going back to Mikola's question, what I've been lots of different challenges here, and what one thing that I believe it's very important when we talk about technical debt is to understand that it's not an easy question. It's not an easy task, right? We do at least when we are. I can't say a lot about technical debt in open source, but when we do work on the market on the for a company, we do have all those other things that influence on our decisions, right? Like the deadline that we have to achieve, the expectations that our stakeholders, customers, and everything else have, the experience of our team to work with that. So that's so many things that you don't have much control over because yeah, you have to balance everything here, right? In the project. So one thing very important for me is to accept that this is a tough task to deal with technical debt. In the end, you can't be perfect when delivering solutions. You have to balance things, and when we talk about technical debt, there are a lot of things that is related to architectural decisions that we have during the design and build of the solution. And one thing that I try to do is to if we have to create technical debt, it should be well balanced between I have to achieve this goal. Because I have to achieve this goal, we'll create this technical debt that we have to at some point we have to plan and deal with that in the future. But everyone agrees with that, and not just you by yourself in your mind. So creating those, we call that architectural decision records. That has been very helpful for me to remember why I made this decision. because sometimes you have to you have to be to choose to make the decision, right? And at that moment there are many other things that is in the context that in the future you can say, oh man, why did we do that? Oh, why did someone did that? And we tend to blame people at that moment, and we can be included in that team, right? But there are lots of other things that made it that made those decisions be at least the only one that you could be taking at that moment. So and people forget about that very easily, especially people that was not in the team at that moment, and future teams that will be maintaining that project, that software. So that's one thing that that is very helpful, that has been very helpful for me to actually give the proper context for some decisions that is tough on the project.
It's true. It's technical debt doesn't come out of nothing. It shows you a story. We once had. It's actually quite funny because we once had a child coming to our company, like a smart guy, but he was like he's maybe 15, 16. Somebody of parents brought him and like probably didn't, like, I don't know, school is closed, whatever. So he went to all our meetings, and then he asked like, why do you have technical debt as such? Why don't you just fix everything? And I was like, you see, how many buses do we have in London? You know, those big red double deckers you see. But if you go inside of this double decker, you will see that the devices around the driver, they keep changing. They literally like take it away, put new bolts in, like, so it's not always nice. There might be a hole on the placement of whole divide. Because I told him that, you see, there's so many buses, you cannot just replace them every time a new GPS is out. So you're trying to replace just GPS because the bus works. So if we start fixing all technical debt perpetually, I'm not saying it's impossible. Just today I found that Elasticsearch is using Gradle 8. So this is cool. I'm not sure even. Yeah, I don't want to speculate on Gradle using which version they're using, but it might be 7 in some of the projects. But when I see such things, I understand that somebody planned well. It's not just happening. Somebody found resources for upgrade of the whole project, and so on. Dean, what do you think, and Mikola, about technical debt and Shreya?
Well, it depends on what kind of aspect you mean. I know there's sort of there are ways you can help manage it. For example, in our team, we'll have things like Dependabot running in our project. So we'll see when dependencies need to be updated, and if they can be automatically updated, we'll take that opportunity. Something we've been dealing with recently is Webpack's quite an old sort of tool to be using. There's some different options on the front end, like Vite or TurboPack or whatever you want to be looking at, even a new version of Webpack or say ESBuild. They're all options that we're considering. And that's something that we can schedule into the future if that becomes a priority. I know we were talking earlier, the main thing that we want to do is reduce the time it takes to deploy code to production. Like if I'm working on a feature, that feature doesn't really matter that much until it's in production and my customers can be using it. So that's why I want to be reducing that technical debt, because that can be costing me time that it takes to deploy my code. It can make my devs' lives easier as well.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something very important. You mentioned strategy towards technical debt and managing it. So it's same as in projects. I always tell that my friends that I don't want all of you to use your unique solutions, which will differ around all project. I want the same solution for the same kind of problem, at least in the scope of the project. But because then it doesn't have to be the best. It has to be good enough, and it has to be the same around the whole project. And same with technical debt. I don't want you to people to die in the office working 20 hours or neglect it. I just want to know what is the approach. What is the approach towards Log4j fixing? So I don't. It's okay that it's priority 1. I understand it, but I want to know what is our approach to it. How fast do we fix it? Because this stuff is often tied to contracts as well. So what is a technical debt for us and P1 incident or whatever, it might also be tied to a contract, which will tell how many days we have. So when you get senior, it's so interesting on that side.
Service level agreements and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's like let's say it's a banking app or some huge app. Human lives literally depend on it, because if somebody cannot buy milk for her kids, then we have a problem, like a huge one. So it will be something like, I don't know, such and such percentage of time the system must be up.
Yeah,
and that's it. For example, it might be like the response from the server, request response cycle, should not take more than, let's say, half a second.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And for example, it might be like it must simultaneously support that many requests. So if we know that, if we are like, as you mentioned, tracking technical debt, we can be aware that let's say we are using table database, right? One table, and it's growing. As it's growing, unless we do something, if it's just a table, it will start becoming slower naturally. Let's say it's unindexed nothing. So you'll be aware that the response is getting slower. And you'll be able to tell the business that, look, friends, because you are principal and you know that it's not only about coding, and that's actually coming back to Shreya, that coding is such a small part of being a developer these days. And you can talk to business, you can actually call them and say that, friends, look, we have, I don't know, half a second agreement. And although it's although it's 200 milliseconds at the moment, half a year ago it was 100 milliseconds. So I suggest that we have a spike investigation. We create a small team as a priority in the next, let's say, 1 month, and we spend 3 days together analyzing where the time goes and analyzing the future scenario of this stuff. So at least business can make an informed decision, and you can make an informed decision. Before it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and they call Mikola and save us because let's say the Ministry of Economy is really not happy with this stuff because of it's slowing down here. Somewhere on the other side they have a timeout, and it's not a single mother, or like it's not somebody trying to buy milk directly. It's some other banking system which depends on your system, and they have hard-coded 500 milliseconds. They shouldn't, but they did. And it's kind of the situation when it's nobody's fault, but something doesn't work.
Yeah, I think you mentioned another thing that I believe it's very important, or it's the developers at least fail a lot, is to actually connect the consequences of the technical debt to the business. I think that is a big challenge, and like Dean said about I'm not sure if I get it right, but you are assessing some bundle packaging tools, like migrating Webpack to another, I don't know, Beats or any other things.
Yeah.
And business things about, oh, those developers just want to update things to use more new cool stuff. But in the end, I don't know if Beats ends up to make builds faster, quicker, and you can deliver better, faster, and don't use a lot of plugins, and it may make our delivers faster. And if you have any problem, you will have solutions faster way, or you will you save money in the end by doing that, because we won't take so long to have feedback loops and stuff like that and test our application. When we start to connect the benefits, not just to the developers, but to the whole business, that starts to give another weight to the technical debt. Oh, so this technical debt is important, so because it will make our business better.
If not, maybe I could add a couple notes. Maybe sorry if it will be too obvious things. I will come from the idea that Hugo shared. It's tech debt is many aspects of programming are quite complex tasks. So I would like to suggest to attack it systematically. So we must build a system which consists of different processes. For example, one of elements, maybe it's not directly related with tech debts, but still it's important to have good testing coverage, and maybe it's good to put it as when it makes sense, and it as a part of acceptance criteria. So you can't commit your code without covering it with tests. So definitely it will help you to get a better quality code, and it will help you when you make refactoring, when you fight your tech debt. And second part, it's better to try to clearly see what's happened. So for example, you are created your pull request, you get some comments, you don't want to fix it directly now, but it's good to create corresponding tech debt task in tech debt epic, and handle it, groom it when you will have time. So be aware about what you have. Don't hide from the problem, but try to be aware of it. So that's my observations about
Great.
it.
cool stuff. And also by creating unit tests, I think also unit tests also a good thing that that help a lot addressing those technical debts. You can validate in a more quicker way when you have tests that covers the functionality of that feature. And that's another challenge that at least for a project I work at, usually the managers or the people that is responsible for the project, they always think that is something that the side thing for the project. It's optional, and yeah, if we have time, let's create unit test. So that's very common, and the same way, right? When we can connect the unit test with the value that it can deliver for the business, that brings a whole other weight for this, and whole other priorities for who is taking care of the project. So that's a challenging thing. I of course I don't as much as we understand the business, it's better to actually create values for the project, for not just creating code, but yeah, delivering value. I think it's the end purpose of the whole project. But it's a lot of things. We, as a developer, we already have a lot of things, technical things that we have to know, and we also have to know business things. But yeah, I think that's the reason that we have so much demand for people that is a developer that solves problems, not just code things, right? And yeah, I think that's the challenging point that brings us keep growing jobs in the market as well.
By the way, I think Nikita already partially answered this question. I see, not just noticed the question from Rahul, that at what proficiency level you can call yourself a programmer. Maybe you answered similar question to Shreya, but maybe we could add some couple words about this question if you would like. What do you think, Nikita? At what professional level you can call yourself a programmer?
Yesterday. So my answer is your code you can read "Hello World," you're a programmer.
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't call you a
Actually-
programmer, tell them I did.
I also want to add something. When I started that free cohort, 100 devs cohort, the first thing that Leon told all of us to do, that if you are able to understand code, like basic HTML and CSS, then you should go immediately and update your Twitter bio to software engineer, and that's what I did. That's what I have written, software engineer, even though I am not a very good web developer, but I can understand basic code, and that's why I have written software engineer in my bio.
Well, first lesson here is like it's just an advice. Don't ever call yourself not very good in anything. Leave it to your competitors and people who envy you, and there will be plenty. So don't do their work and don't leave them jobless. All the bad people. And to me, it's not about program as such. My only question to people is, does this person care? For example, like when I see Mikola's t-shirt, I can say that he cares for Ukraine. He doesn't wave flags, he doesn't jump there, doesn't shout it, and that's why I believe him more than other people. And he created channel open source for Ukraine on sorry, not Tinder, definitely not Tinder, on Telegram. And although it's probably not very big, but he did it. And we also have a friend, a Ukrainian friend in Italy, and my friends, which is actually interesting, from Russia, but she was helping Ukrainian in Spain to get a job. So she's like, fuck anything, I'm doing that. So like, and well, there might be consequences, but she is a very brave lady. So it's more about impact. So like Dean is sharing his knowledge on OpenAI. Can we call him a programmer? I didn't see him compiling anything today, but the impact was there. So as long as person really wants to help somebody and make something better, well, we can call this person, I don't know, programmer if you wish. Programming is this easiest part of this. For example, today I was looking at this Elasticsearch thing, and finally it starts on my machine. It doesn't work. I didn't compile anything, but I think when I even learn how to fix tickets there, coding in Java will be the smallest part. Understanding how the system works. So programming is just creating code which compiles and runs, right? So first developer was a lady, actually. Her name was Ada. And first programming language as well. So she was a programmer. So she never compiled anything as such, and but she was the first one. So yeah. Sorry, I can talk about this stuff till morning.
Keep going, please do.
Yeah, so it's all about your impact. In the like, if you want to oversimplify, we can make it in rupees or dollars. Like, how many people will improve their skills? And the other reason why I'm so not impressed by people labeling somebody as a programmer, I'm not sure this job will exist in 10 years' time. It will, but I'm not fully sure. If you check how market is changing, so the people who care for others, people who are trying to make an impact. So like even your example, you might say that you have questions about your CSS skills, right? But first, I'm not sure people use CSS much without frameworks anyway these days. And the more, the less they will. It will be about using tools for it. And second, let's say your university or school asks you, or you help somebody in their pet project. Well, you delivered something. This is much better than a person who knows so much and doesn't share. I have a friend, a good friend, but he was like, he told me that open source doesn't work. He codes like he codes very well. He works in German automotive industry, C++, very low level stuff. He created some open source project and nobody was using it. Well, it was before I started, but like today I will ask him like, okay, so who did you create it for? Did you create to show off how cool you are with algorithms? Then I'm not surprised. Or did you create it to help, I don't know, Mikolo to test his software? Now we're talking. So so always about, if you look at what Eddie Jowett is doing, so the project is link free, right? But what he's really doing, he is giving people a chance to grow as crazy in any direction. So most of the time he's helping people, and link free is just one of the ways he does that. So is Eddie Jowett a programmer? I don't care, because the impact is so huge. You can give him all the titles. So yeah, it's you can look at Kunal. So Kunal didn't graduate. I don't think he graduated from Indian Institute of Technology. I think it was just a normal
No.
college.
Yeah.
But in the end, when he was graduating, I think he had like over 100 people from IIT. And for those who don't know, Indian Institute of Technology, it's not just world level. It's harder to get there than to get to MIT. They have strict requirements. So when Kunal was graduating, I think there were like a lot of people, maybe over 100, who came to him for like recommendations what to do next. And they were from IIT and he wasn't. But early in his career, he understood that it's about impact. It's about helping others and leading by example as well. Because for me, it's more about, I'm not buying people who are telling others how to live their lives, but they're doing something different. So, for example, Hugo, Mikola, Dean here, everything you teach, everything you share, I know you're doing it yourself. And that's why I trust you. But when somebody starts telling me like, oh, it's easy, you just do that, and I'm like, did you do it? And like, it happens all around the place, not only in software. I just today saw a psychologist who is explaining how to have a happy family. But wait, she's single. So she's a good psychologist. I'm not saying that she's bad, but please tell me like what worked for you and what didn't work for you. Don't tell me like stuff which you read from books and it didn't work for you. So same with CSS or anything. You don't need to know whole CSS. You just need to know enough to make an impact. Like this project which I shared today with you, you can put a flag there. It's a text file with names. You can make it look better. Actually, that's a good impact. Let's say you want to follow Dean's advice or inspiration, and you go and check OpenAI. We can do it actually now. I can share the screen window. 1 second. I need to find that's Elastic, but that's fine. So let's say you go here, GitHub, OpenAI, and OpenAI, GitHub, right? It's this one. Now you choose a project to impact. So let's see which one is a hot one. This is, my God, what have you done, Dean? Now it's hard for people to stop. This one has such.
Whisper's a fun one.
Yeah, so let's say I know you're junior, you know you're junior, but you might look at this one and you find something which is not nice. I don't know what yet, but so sometimes I'm looking for those. Even you can do as a junior, you can just go through it and try to understand it, write an article about it. If it has built instructions like this, try to do it. But I always say that the trick is choosing the right project. Like, will it be good for your career? Will it be good? Like if you go to, let's say, 1 second, I'll actually use it in the second window because it's LinkedIn, but I'll be back in a second. So, yeah, it's fine. I just, yeah, you can see it. So here, if I do OpenAI, right, and I go to OpenAI jobs, and I put here, let's say, India. So if you're into this kind of job, then definitely you should be trying this project because yeah, so there's so much impact you can do. I don't remember what was the initial question, but from this one, so I'm not even speaking about typos and stuff like that. No, this looks beautiful. This looks beautiful.
I think this might be a bit in the deep end, though. The OpenAI stuff can get a bit complicated.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm saying is that choosing the first project is so important. Not choosing any project is so important because there's 200 million plus projects on GitHub. So Shreya, what do you mentioned? What do like? Which job are you looking for in the future, or is it? Oh, I think Shreya lost the connection. But yeah, so that's my normal stuff. It's this. I would just Google for software engineer and check what they're using. I don't know, this one, it mentions AI, and then I will check which libraries they mention, and I will try to find something open source. Yeah, this is already, it's quite easy, right? So, and then I will just find the project to contribute. Okay, sorry, I've been speaking for so long. It's your time now. Anybody wants to share anything?
Nikita, if you would take a look at Harsh's question, maybe you could provide him a couple answers. He extended our discussion to the point of imposter syndrome problem. So how to fight it?
Yeah, well, I'm in clinical depression right now, right? I was just yesterday, I was doing the test on low self-esteem, and I scored 9 out of 10 maximum. The simple truth is that everybody has it. Every person in IT has imposter syndrome, and every single one. So I don't fight it. My trick is that I just tell myself that, let's say I have this, I'm like Shreya, and I'm telling myself that I'm not a programmer, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not a programmer. Okay, I'm worse in the world. Okay, now, do you mind if I fix this Gradle? And then I just go and do it. And then we have a guy who is not a developer, not a programmer, worst in the world, and so. But the Gradle script works now with a newer version of Gradle. It's done. And I'm trying to move this thing away from and not allow it to block it. And I'll just try to do it. Like this morning I was doing this elastic actually midday, and it didn't work for me. Well, I googled. I still don't know why it's not working on 0.0.0.0 in Docker, but it works on localhost. Next, there's another error. Cool, whatever. I'm used to stuff breaking in my face. I know I'm not a real developer. I'm not the best, so I expect this stuff to happen. And it's actually good stuff in a way. Imposter. There was a Polish science fiction writer, Stanislav Lem, and he had a story about school for astronauts who manage rockets. And there were two guys. There was a guy who is like from a good family, rich one, lucky, and another one from poor background. And they had to make test flight. They got two rockets, and they got a test flight. So, and this guy, like one man flight, and this guy, his flight didn't go well at all. And the worst stuff was that he had a fly flying there. So there's like, he's in the space, there's no weight, and there's a fly flying, and something slid off. So all electric is open, and the fly flies into wires, and they have just secured stuff. And like, so he manages to land this rocket, and it's all like damaged and stuff. And he's like, fuck, my typical day, like, how can I be so unlucky? I'm not a real astronaut and all this stuff. But he manages to land it. And then when he manages to land it, he finds out that it all was just a computer simulation that they put, because astronauts are rare, but rockets are expensive. So they wanted to make sure that he can pass this immense amount of stress, that even if everything goes wrong, and there's a chance, he will go logically, step after step, and he will land the bloody rocket. But it's not the end of the story. The end of the story is that, so all the time, two rockets was on the land with some wires. It was simulation. But then they opened the door to the second one, and the person who basically, they had to take the guy out because he went absolutely mad, because he never had problems in his life. He was absolutely sure that he is a super duper astronaut, and he wasn't. The moment they put the same amount of pressure to him, just one electric slide off and just one fly and some stuff went wrong, he just went mad because he was not prepared. So I would probably bet on a person who openly says that, yeah, I'm not the best here and here, but I did such and such, than the person who tells me that, oh, I can code anything. No, you cannot. I will find you like Ukrainian programming language, and you know nothing there. So there's a language which is literally called brainfuck, and it's not a nice one to code. So, and I will actually be afraid of people who walk in and say that they can fix it easy, because I've seen these people create problems. So in life, and it costs money. So imposters are cool, as long as you don't allow your imposter syndrome stop from doing stuff. Just put it aside, let it sit there and enjoy, as you're not a software developer first, then you're not a project manager, then you're not a CTO, not an architect, then you're not the lucky company owner, and this Ferrari is like wrong color Ferrari or whatever. Just yeah, that's fine. I don't have a Ferrari.
Yeah, I wanted a couple of words about what just Nikita said. I completely agree with this. Well, first of all, let me share some experience. Oh, sorry, sorry, I had a call. Yeah, let me share experience about my first day in real commercial project. It was maybe one of the best and the most scariest day in my whole life. It's funny. I had a lot of projects. I will study a lot of different programming languages in university, but still, it was like a real project. And when kind of Hello World program on which was used technology that was used on that project was compiled, so I was completely happy. So I was sure that it will work. All the rest will work as well as this Hello World program. So, and about imposter syndrome, it's kind of tricky stuff. I definitely don't encourage anyone to lie on a resume or say what you didn't do, but it's not only about what you did, it's more about what you want. It's like a kind of American dream. Like no one cares how rich you are, how rich are your parents, what is your education. The only question is what do you want to get to do in this life. So you must maybe not must is wrong word. Maybe it's good for you to shape what you really want, what you're really interested in, and shape yourself. Like start building your brand, like your image. Like even no one knows everything, and definitely it's for sure. But it may be a good way to put your skills, your experience to the direction you want to achieve. So that's why if you want to be a programmer, even if you're asking who is programmer, you already know something about it. So you already made some effort. So no matter like even developers who already has like 60 years experience, one day was new bias and wrote their first Hello World program. So it's not something magical, right? So and but it's really very very good point. I want to relate with this one. It's important to as all of you mentioned, Hugo and Nikita, it's not only about programming, not only about techniques. Maybe it's one of important points. It's building your goals, building your dreams. So I think it will be great if people will be studied from schools, from universities to do it. So it's important to know what you want to do. It's very difficult to achieve your goal if you don't know where you go, right? As Alice in Wonderland says, like, where you want to achieve, no matter where. So no matter where you will go, right? So to achieve your goal, you must know what you want. So it's very important to set your goal. So it's not that important to say like when I will start. When I will start, will be able to call myself programmer, but it's important like what I want to do as programmer, what programs I want to write, or what problems I want to solve, right? Maybe it will be more practical question in my understanding. If you agree with me or don't agree, please share your
Yeah.
opinion.
You're right. About resumes, yeah, I was helping people with resumes a little bit, and especially this. Two things. I'll just go to the open source part actually, because especially juniors, they're normally like, oh, how can we get experience, because we're missing experience to get hired. But these days it's like you just find your best job, which like principal level job. Like you're 20, you're absolutely sure that for the whole life of yours you'll be doing Java. I don't have a problem with it. It's naive, but it's cool. So find the principal level Java engineer job, print it out, put it on the wall, underline few open source projects there, and start doing them. Keep going to interviews, but don't, instead of sending your resume for 8 hours per day, send it for 1, and then spend 5 hours to do open source and learn around it, and spend 2 with your family. And when you come, if I interview you and I interview somebody who spent all the time sending resumes while you were doing the latest cooler stuff, let's say half a year, it will be so easy to see the difference. So yeah, and actually I can share something. I just was writing this tweet today, this one. So I was actually it's I think Mikola's influence and others friends as well, and Bruno Jauman. So I realized that, because I want so many things, but I realized that some of them don't contradict. So for example, I want to help Open UK and maybe FinOS, but I'm not so sure because of time. It's financial open source in London, but Open UK, it's one of the biggest in the world and one of the most important. But this is like strategic level. Just come to the meetups, talk to people, try to make things like make it visible, help with conferences. But like tactical is this stuff which we're doing today. I will constantly try to like make nice people visible, like share today. Because sometimes you don't meet right people and then you lose a year of your life in like career. But on low level, I have this Elastic and G Research as well, They have nice projects there. Well, I can actually show GitHub, I think, G Research. But basically, they forked a database. One second, and it's a big database, and because I know that G Research, they create some cool events, and although they're a small company, they have a very big percentage of people doing purely open source. So they definitely want to look. So basically, like, I know 2 projects I can contribute directly, and I will. I know community, and I know how to help something on strategic level. And because I know the goals, so these are my goals. And yeah, and the ultimate goal is to help people find jobs. So I think it was, I don't remember which one, probably this one, Data Hub. Yeah, so they forked it from here. And this one is probably, they have a few, I don't remember which one. But I'll actually leave a link in chat. But what I'm saying is that Mikul absolutely right. Because when people come to me and they say, I want to do open source, and I say, nope, even I don't want to do open source just for the sake of open source. I normally ask, like, what is your goal? So for Shrey, it might be finding a job. For Mikul, it might be, knowing the latest technologies and having impact and inspiring a new generation of people in Ukraine to do IT, especially these days. For Dean, it might be showing people that AI doesn't have necessarily to be commercial. And if you are paying those $25, then you better use it, right? For Hugo, it might be making sure that somebody doesn't get hacked because they didn't manage their technical debt. But we all are not doing open source just for the sake of open source, because if you have no goal where to go, it doesn't matter which direction you go. And then if you read the stories about people in snowstorm and stuff, about them walking away without a compass, they start doing circles because humans are incapable of walking straight without some target they see. And then they die. That's actually sad. There's another story to it that actually survival experts, they say that the worst thing you can do when you're in a situation like this is stop doing anything. It's very important that you do something. It doesn't have to be logical. You can start building pyramid out of matches or reading poetry or whatever, because you need to keep your brain under load. And so sometimes when you are not sure how to reach something in career or find friends with open source or something, just keep doing it. Just try different projects, make noise, tell people that that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Stay positive if it's possible, and somebody will come and tell you. So yeah.
And
Summaries.
sorry for interruption.
Sure.
I wanted a couple, from my experience, words about imposter syndromes and how dangerous it can be. There could be two sides, of course. If you are saying not true in your resume, you're in danger. Honestly, I did it once in my career. At the beginning, I was really worried that I'm not good enough to be hired for my experience, and I added almost everything I knew about, and business owner who hired me said, okay, you know it, no problem. And then he said, okay, Mikola, you know it, could you please do it? I said, but I need some. No, you said you already have experience with it, so why you need some stuff to learn what you already know? You know it, so you said you know it, please do it. So it was really, I cannot recommend to anyone to do such things. But from another sorry, from another hand, it's dangerous to underestimate yourself. Like, when I was recommended to my first project, my future boss team lead told me, like, Mikola, you will talk with kind of CTO, so you have to imagine, tell that you already have some experience as a software developer. I don't know what you will say. You can imagine something. You can really get. I don't care if you had it or not, but you must. If you will be asked if you have some experience, you must to say your boss to CTO that you had it. I was like, don't ask this question, but it was really kind of difficult. But it's kind of really important point, because like one friend of mine, my colleague in a student. As a student in university, he was even smarter than me, to be honest, but he was more humble than me. And when he was interviewed, and it was not, in my understanding, it was not that complex task for him, but that was something he was to work with a lot. But at that point, in my understanding, it will be nice if he said, like, okay, I did work directly with this, but no, I know about it, I have some knowledge about it, and like shape his goal. But he was too humble to do it, and unfortunately he didn't get this job. So in this case, I was it's very important to don't underestimate yourself. Definitely you don't have to overestimate yourself for sure, but underestimating will limit your potential to grow, to get what you do, to participate in the project you want to participate. So as Nikita said, there will be a lot of people who will say, well, what you're doing wrong, what are your weak sides. So please
Yes.
so it's maybe and again, as we told, being programmer not only about coding, so maybe it's even important to it's related with psychology, right? So how you're with your self-esteem. So it's very important. It's not really only about programmer, but for programmer, it's especially important to trust in what you are doing, to trust in your goal, to trust that you can do what you that you can make your dreams true. To think like on high level. So I think it's maybe more about this.
Yeah, just tell facts about stuff you did.
Yep.
Tell facts about stuff you know that, no, I don't know Java, but I coded such and such in Node.js. No, I don't know Java, but I helped to organize the latest Java meetup. And I have a friend who knows Java and whatever. But just make sure you spec through. And in the worst case, you won't get a job, but you'll have a list of stuff to improve. So
Yep.
you'll switch your open source project, and then they will ask you to come there again in half a year.
Yep.
But if they caught you lying, and especially if you start lying to yourself, this is so expensive, because lying to yourself can kill like 10 years of career, because you'll be telling that, I don't know, you know something or you don't know something, and this is not true. Or you might be saying that yourself that, oh, I need to know CSS, but you don't, because market is different.
And I could prove words of Nikita, believe it or not, but I had one project when I first time was interviewed. They told, Mikola, it's great, you're a great engineer, but right now we don't have just don't have position for you. We have some openings, but it's not. We don't think it could be interesting for you, for your level. And then in half a year, when I interviewed there, they already we just have a position for you. Please join. So it's already will fulfill your level. So it's could happen and happens quite often.
Good. So, any last words? Because I will switch away because I have some personal commitments.
Oh,
But
Well, yeah, go ahead, Nicola.
no, after you, sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I think last words here maybe it's to about imposter syndrome is yeah, our development challenges, tasks are always something new, something that we are exploring, a new problem, a new thing. So it's always we never know everything, and we never know if we are able to make this challenge or not. That's why we feel always those imposter syndrome. But yeah, if we don't explore, we do explore in a limit that we are we can take the risk and do things. It's something more safer for us. it's great, and we can do create this environment, right? We can do have this understanding what we can deal or not. So yeah, I think that's a way to actually deal with that. And as Nikita said, that's something that we have to everyone has. So our if you are going to be developer, that's part of our day, our routine, our day to day. Okay. And yeah, thanks a lot, Nikita, for inviting me for this session. It was amazing. Lots of things, lots of interesting things. I also thanks everyone here, Dia, Mikola, especially Shreya, for joining us. And yeah, that was amazing.
Dean, any last things?
I think everyone else has caught it, but yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone for showing what they had and speaking. Yeah, especially Shreya down there. I'm not sure if you're still in the call or not, but
Yes,
yeah, thanks for joining. Yeah, it's not easy to get up on stage, especially when you haven't done it much before. So good on you.
I wish I was as brave as Shreya like 20 years ago. I would be so much better off now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Dean, next Sunday you are giving a talk on ChatGPT and OpenAI,
Cool.
right? So
Easy
I will
done.
start. So I will start promoting it from tomorrow. So
Sounds good. Yeah, hopefully I'll have some progress on that. I'll be creating my accounts on the platforms and starting to ingest some real data and practice with it. So hopefully
Yeah,
I've got something
no pressure at
working.
all. Like it can be work in progress, even if it's documentation. It's fine. I mean, it's really good because how many people do it? How many
Yeah.
people come to streams to talk about it?
You know what I'm like. I'll have it probably running tomorrow at some stage. So
Yeah, I know. So yeah, you have your super skills. And Shreya, do you have any last things to say? Oh. Yeah, probably like something doesn't work. But yeah, so it was really nice to see you all. I made a small tweet about it, and yeah, so next big event is Sunday, and I also create Friday 6 a.m. UTC event for people who are from different part of the globe, for example in India. So it's because Sunday is it's a luxury. Not everybody has a luxury of not going out on Sunday. So yeah, nice to see you. And we have a last comment from Harshdeep. He says basically keep going and doing at least something, and being neutral is the key to beat it. And thanks guys, the sessions are really helpful. I will say thanks Fox because it's more inclusive. But yeah, thank you so much, Harshdeep. It's actually friends like you who inspire us to keep kicking and doing stuff. So see you next time. And and also Mikola is admin now, so he has rights to run the streams. So even if I'm sick or not around, then just talk to him and make it that's fine. Harshdeep, it took me like a few years, I still do it. So yeah, so Mikola can organize streams, and we can even run 2 streams in parallel, like on different topics. I'm not fully sure how it works yet. One is complicated enough, but we can. And we can have up to 10 guests. So on the day when we have more than 10 guests, we'll suggest that somebody will go to YouTube and work with us in comment section. But so far it was enough. Okay, I just want to wish everybody a nice Sunday. Be kind to yourself. Have your kappa. And talk to your family if you have this. How do you call it? It's a privilege, actually. It's a privilege. So see you, friends. Oh, that's just USB stuff. See you. Live long and prosper. Bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thanks, Nikita. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye.